Hello, everyone. Welcome. Thank you for being here. Let me pin the video. Thank you all for being here. What I want to talk to you about today is I'm going to stretch you out beyond the scope of anything that you have been stretched out from before. And I'm asking for your indulgence because I'm going to appear at first that I'm all over the place, but I'm not all over the place. There will be a point where everything will be brought together. So for many weeks now, over a month now, I've been getting a sense that in the future horizon, there is a cloudiness. There is a kind of, although it's not completely clear, but there is a sense of some sort of event, and the dates are very specific. Second week of November, going into the middle of next year. There is some sort of series of events that are all connected together that's going to really test us to our limit. And I want to qualify this by explaining to you how things show up for me in the future horizon. It starts with a cognitive dissonance experience, where energetically in my body knows something that my mind and my consciousness cannot accept or is not ready to process. There is a kind of a weird sensation of misalignment of head and heart. And I know when I'm this way, it's because my consciousness and my mind is not prepared to understand the information. Basically, I'm in fear. Whatever is coming up for me energetically or all around me, I can't process at the moment because it's scaring my consciousness. The change are too rapid, the transformation are too expensive. I can't process it at the moment. And it takes a while for me to become neutral, to go in neutrality and to relax my body and to let go and to go into surrender, sometimes several days, sometimes a week, before I finally get to a point where I can let go and kind of unburden myself completely. And at which point, as I release all of this, I begin to have a better sense of what that felt. At first, it's a sense of liberation. It's a tremendous sense of, I feel so good. I don't have any burden. No attachment, nothing is weighing me down. I'm not trying to control. I'm not trying to do anything. I'm just being. I'm just present in my beingness. And as I'm in that state, suddenly I begin to have visions. They are all feelings or sensation. The feeling was at first, it's not just one event, but a series of events. They may be related or not related. Then the best way to describe it visually is that I'm sitting in a fog and I know there's a presence or something in the fog that's coming toward me. I cannot make the outline completely yet, but I have a feeling for what it is. It's like when somebody's standing behind you, you can feel the presence, or you can feel whether it's beneficial or if that person is potentially dangerous or malevolent. That kind of feeling. But if I go deeper into relaxation and surrendering, I begin to have flashes of vision. One of the flashes in the vision I had was I saw an asteroid or stellar body running toward the Earth, like a big ball of fire. And that was kind of scary for me, kind of, and once I get scared, it's a flash, it's very fast. And once I get scared, it stops the vision. So I relaxed, I continued to breathe in. And the next day, and the vision ended, the next day, a video that was related to a gentleman named Anton, what's his last name again? Petrov, Anton Petrov. He's actually Ukrainian. I follow his channel, and he's a geek and a scientist, and he has all these scientific papers that he animates, and it's a great channel for somebody like me. And he was talking about catastrophic astral bodies that have hit the Earth in the process of our solar system traversing the galactic year. Behind me is an image of the galaxy, okay? And for those of you on video, you will be able to see this. So if the solar system, the Earth, are rotating around themselves, and this is the galactic core, it takes, in the process of spinning around themselves, they also traverse the entire central axis of the galaxy, and it takes 250 million years for it to happen, okay? And this is a galactic year. While this is happening, the galaxies have pinwheels. In this instance, there's a pinwheel here, very visible. There's another one out there. When they are in between pinwheel, there are very few planets and stars. They usually show up as blank and barely illuminated. But when they traverse the pinwheels, suddenly there's a lot of other bodies that are there, and the possibility of collision, that the Earth would collide with an interstellar body, increase exponentially. And this man had a paper from scientists who did a lot of research on early crystals and in the core of the Earth, to discover that there was a magnetic signature that was left around the time of the dinosaur, which is the last time that the Earth traversed one of the pinwheels. And we're about to traverse the next one. So the possibility that we could collide with another stellar body increases exponentially. A few days later, not even a few days later, last week, there was, and I can send you the video if you're interested, NASA tested, they sent a space probe, and they were practicing. They call it the Earth Defense System. They rammed it into an asteroid to change by a few degrees the rotation and the direction of the asteroid, and they successfully did it. Okay, so these people from NASA know something, and there are too many coincidences to be coincidences. But whilst I was doing this, when I first got the idea, the download that something like this may be coming, and again, I don't want you to get scared. I don't want you to think that this is not a future that's decided. When you see things in the future horizon, they are all potential for manifestation. It's like opening a fan and there are multiple things that show up. And all of these things, except for those who are futures that are decided yet, what in the channeling, the Galactic Region Council call futures that have a wave function collapse, which means that all of us have selected that this is the experience we want to have, and we're calling upon that future to manifest. It's subconscious, but we have agreed this is what we need to experience. Okay? So a lot of time, the landing or how that future is going to land can change and can alter from the time I'm perceiving it. So I was asking, how do we alleviate the landing? What do we do? Blah, blah, blah. I mean, I was thinking of the prayers and all the things that I need to do with Archangel Michael, the prayer of asking for mercy from Kuan Yin, Mother Mary, or God, and all the things, all the ascended masters, what we can do to ask them for help against something like this. You know, Ashtar Command and the mothership, I can ask them for help, and all the things that we can actually do. And in the process of doing of thinking of what I could do and what kind of meditation and protocol I can come up with, the next day, suddenly, out of nowhere, there was an understanding like this that came to me that says, stop making yourself small for other people. You have the power within you to stop this from happening. And I didn't get it. I didn't understand it at first. I thought that was such a silly thing, a crazy thought for me to have. But then I remembered my past. I remember that there was a colossal presence and being inside of me. that for my entire life, I've been trying to diminish. I've been trying to dim down because every time it shows up, it scared me. I've spoken about this before when I was part of the mystery school, when they were doing shenanigans, and when I was part of, deeply involved in the, not the politics, but the business meeting and the committees that they had at the lodge on Irving Place in New York. I used to be, when they were doing shenanigans, I used to be so upset with them that I would get up and I would challenge them. I was 18, 19 years old, maybe at the time. I would challenge them openly. And in the process of challenging them, I was in such righteous indignation that it felt to me that the walls were collapsing and the floor was tilting. And I didn't understand. And I thought, I'm delusional. I'm so angry. I'm imagining this to be happening. It was not until maybe 6 months later, after several of these incidents, where I would get up, because some of the shenanigans they were doing was insane. I told you in one instance, one of the young girls there that was maybe 16 or 17 was raped by one of the administrators, one of the people that were, and that they should have called the police. This man was a pedophile, a rapist. And he was standing there pontificating, and this young girl was, literally, they kicked her out. I was so angry, and because of the righteous indignation, I didn't understand what was going on with me. It was not until the small circle of friends that I had in the organization that agreed with me. We used to go after the business meeting on a diner and eat a few bites, and then I would take the train to go back home. That one day, one of them said, "Hey, Pierre, yeah, and Pierre, and the atmosphere things that he does where the wall begin to cave in." That's when I realized that something was really happening. I was really doing this. And it put me on pause. And it also started my desire to master my emotion so that I don't let my righteous indignation, maybe my anger, to control me, because I don't want this energy to hurt anyone. That's one instance. There are multiple other instances and where this happened. And before I get into an explanation, I'm going to jump to another topic, and I'm going to bring all of them together. The famous shaman, probably the best Western shaman that we know, that makes shamanism very sexy to the Western world, was Carlos Castaneda. His first book was called The Yaqui Way, Don Juan and the Yaqui Way of Knowledge. It was early 60s when that book was published. It was a hit. It's an autobiographical journey of an American, although from Spanish descent, anthropologist who was doing research on psychedelic drug, Mundi mushroom, and found a shaman who took him as an apprentice and trained him how to be a sorcerer. Okay? And there was he chronicled his entire life in a series of books to deeper and deeper initiation into this lineage. So and in one of the books, Carlos Castaneda, Don Juan, his teacher, was trying to describe to him how he was able to see that he's a shaman. Most people, according to the tradition, have between their shoulder blade an area which he called the assemblage point. And it's a ball of light. And in shaman, it's extremely brilliant. And he described 3D consciousness as an unconscious agreement that everyone on the planet have to hold their consciousness in the same fixed location on the assemblage point. And as a matter of fact, because a lot of his work was about the control of dreams, he says the reason he's trying to help them control their dreams, it's because the presence that you need to shift yourself out of 3D into any other higher consciousness, that presence can be practiced in the 8 or more hours that you're sleeping at night. This is the reason for dream work, because it's a time well used. And if you can practice this during the dream work, then you can begin to understand, and you can transfer, because dream, as he described it, is nothing more than your consciousness at night your consciousness just stop being on a fixed point and begin to travel. And every dream is a different location on the assemblage point. The assemblage point is nothing more than the heart and mind coherence. It's the upper heart. We're looking at it from the front, which is the middle, the upper chest. He's looking at it from the back and calls it the assemblage point, and it's between the shoulder blade. It's the exact same thing. Okay, different name, different direction, but it's the exact same thing. Okay, so now what I want to say to you is this about this. As I'm watching how I'm remembering multiple instances in which my students had this problem, that problem, and they asked me for help, and I was able to provide it. I was able to give it. Every time I provided it, I stepped into that colossal part of me. This is a part of me that most of the time when it comes out, it is so big and so powerful that most of the time, not in spiritual circle, but in other circle, let's say school environment, or when I was working for a corporate office environment, when it comes in, it is so big and so large that people around me, once the presence begins to show and it begins to speak, are muted. They can't speak. Okay? Because it's the presence is thundering, because it's such a colossal and cosmic being. And I have always tried, and this is why I got the voice in my head who kept saying to me, stop dimming your light. In order for you to deal with this, whatever it is that's coming, you and the collective, your circle of influence, need to stand up, each one of you, on this colossal awareness and this colossal presence to avert what's going to happen. You don't need to pray to a deity for help. You are capable of doing the miracle because it exists in you. That was the shocking thing for me. I was again reminded of the story in the Bible of how the passage to the Red Sea occurred. Biblically speaking, Moses saw that Pharaoh was coming after them. He talked to God. God told him, extend your staff over the water separated, they moved, Pharaoh followed, the water fell upon the Pharaoh's army, and the end of the pursuit. The Kabbalah said something completely different happened. When they were on the edge of the water, Moses did connect to God, and God said to him, jump in the water. Not extend your staff and I'm gonna give you safe passage. Jump in the water. When Moses recounted this to the children of Israel, they were like, many of the mixed multitude were so angry with him. They said, we were in Egypt, we were slaves, but we were alive. Pharaoh's going to kill us now. Why did you bring us here? And he said, you don't understand. God is trying to tell us, he already gave us the means through the 72 divine name of God, the means to create the miracle. And during the night, he entranced them with the energy of certainty. And when the sun was rising in the morning over the Dead Sea, a young man named Makshoni began to move and slowly walk into the waters. And as he was moving in the water, the Dead Sea was rising higher at its chest, at his neck. And when the water got in his mouth, the water separated. And then the children of Israel were able to walk through. It was Makshoni, what Makshoni was nothing more than the actual point of the wave function collapse. but he was channeling the energy of 3 million people behind him that collectively were creating, were funneling and collectively giving the energy for that miracle to occur. And it was so potent and so powerful that the Kabbalists were explaining this to me. Rav Berg, in his book on this, described it in such eloquent way. He said, at that moment, every body of water on the planet split in half. He said natural law was suspended for that period of time. Why? Because natural law is subservient to consciousness. They obey consciousness. In fact, it was the consciousness of God that created the natural law and order in this universe. And since we are co-creative partner with that same energy, when we stand in that alignment in that celestial body, we are capable of doing exactly the same thing. Therefore, I want you to understand what I'm trying to say. We have in us the ability to connect to that same level of alignment, because when I'm in that space, you know, that old saying I've been telling you from Haiti that keeps saying I've been saying this for years, for those of you who've been with me, and that's all of you with me for years. You have to know there to go there. There is a very specific feeling when that part of me comes in. It's a combination of alignment, surrender, and certainty. And between, when these three are perfectly equilibrated, suddenly there is an alignment. The alignment is the memory or the connection to the Melchizedek initiation, where you're no longer just Pierre Dubois, but you are now a Melchizedek initiate, a cosmic being, a colossal being, where all of your disempowerment about being a victim, being worried about, you know, political situation, being worried about your grief and your loneliness, being worried about financially what's going to happen to the planet, all of that, poof, go away, because now you've stepped into your cosmic identity. The ease is you surrendering control for all of these things that you're now letting go, and the concern that you have about that or the other. It's you surrendering control to all of this. You just give it all to Spirit, give it all to God. And as you do this and you surrender and you let it go, you release it all to God, suddenly, like this, you step into certainty. Certainty that what the intention that you're desiring, the intention that you're creating, is true. Now, that intention is typically and this was always my concern, that I would have the wrong intention. I would always be concerned. Now, in our exploration on the Kabbalah and dreaming on the Tree of Life, the Bardo of Dreams that I'm teaching right now, that I'm teaching for the second time, I've taught you that when you get to Chokmah in the Kabbalah, Chokmah is actually wisdom. And wisdom is described as power used rightly. And what we understand with Chokmah, and Chokmah is pressure, unbelievable pressure. The way it's described in the Kabbalah, in the book, is unbelievable pressure like the kind of which we have no comprehension for it. And it's only that cosmic being in its wisdom that can command that pressure by those three things. The three things I just mentioned. And what's the result? It's power used rightly. And the way it works is that you may have an intention, for example, let's try to avoid, any stellar body trying to hit the planet, blah, 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 and so on and so forth. That sentence I just said there is too long. Because the way these intentions, in my experience, work, the way they work, it's something extremely simple. Like when God said, let there be light. Or the movie, I sent you all this clip before, when Gandalf in the Bridge of Khazad-dûm said, you shall not pass, to the demon that was trying to pass through him to get to his companions. You shall not pass. And he took his staff and he struck it on the ground. He didn't know how the blockage was going to occur. He just intended for that thing not to pass. There's a difference. You don't get involved in the petty details on how it's going to happen. It's big, big picture. And when you intend it that way, and you mean it from that cosmic standpoint with the certainty, it manifests instantaneously. Because what happened when you're done with this, with the intention release, there is tremendous ease. You feel completely unburdened. And there is tremendous release that this thing, like an ease that flows from you. If you're feeling drained and tired while you're doing this, your ego is doing this. It's not coming from the cosmic force, from your cosmic presence. It's coming from you. Because if anything, you should feel rejuvenated. You should feel like you've been renewed after you do this. Because your ego was not involved. You tapped into infinity times infinity. And in infinity times infinity, you are the law. Your consciousness is the law. And that unbelievable pressure will create, because the laws of nature will obey it. There is enough things that are happening around the planet now to domesticate us into believe that we are disempowered, we are weak, we're feeble, and we're victims. What I'm saying to you is that I was told by Spirit, wake up. Stop making yourself small. You're much bigger than this. Remember your cosmic and Melchizedek identity. I have to tell you that this is hitting me in all the right places in the right ways, because I needed to hear this. Because I've been living, although I have all the tools in the world, I've taught you all different mechanics and everything else, but these tools are a means for you to use your self-assessment and your ability to determine for yourself where is my fear pocket today, and what do I need to do to snap out of it so that I remember that cosmic identity. Now, the cosmic identity, when I was a kid, when it showed up, it was so powerful that it would ostracize me from other people. And at the time when I was younger, particularly as a young boy, or for that matter, when I came to the state, as a young Black man, when that presence showed up in a class and I began to make comments, people were afraid of me. No one wanted to talk to me. So I had to learn a whole different mechanic of collapsing in, making myself small so that I would have friends, because I don't want to be alone. I want to be able to hang out with somebody, go have a cup of coffee, and get approval, find love. the one thing I kept getting in all my past relationships is that you're too intense. It's not I that's intense. It's that presence in me. When it shows up, because when it shows up, it acts in righteousness. And even if you don't mean to, you begin to demonstrate to other people that they too have the same righteousness inside of them that they are not connecting to. And you begin to show them that they should be working on it, and they begin to resent you for reminding them of this, because they rather be blinded like an ostrich rather than have somebody show them the way. So I spent quite a bit of time, as I said, doing this crazy dance. Spiritually, when I'm talking to you, my community, I can allow this to happen. And this happened when I'm doing my channeling. It happens when I'm doing a healing for you, and whatever, that presence shows up very powerfully. But at other time, it does, you know, when I'm hanging out with my mundane friend, I have to collapse it down. I have to dial it back. Because none of them wants to hear or see that part of me that can come in and begin to. And this is one of the reasons that a lot of time when people tell me things, a lot of time I don't respond. I don't say anything. Because let's say in the morning I make a connection with that part of me. That presence remains with me for hours. And a lot of time, that presence, what it does most of the time is that it witness. It just observe. I don't know. Most of the time, when you're telling me things, I don't want to know all the details of your circumstances. And the person you think you're talking to, you're telling Pierre, you're not talking to Pierre. You're talking to that presence that's God within me. And what's interesting is that when I'm in that presence, a lot of time, while you're telling me your story and your burden, before you even ask for help, that presence, that alignment, and the intention to help you is already self-generated inside of me. I can hear that part of me decreeing that your burden is gone. Before you even verbalize it. And when people finally say to me, I need help because blah, 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 could you send me energy and help me with X, Y, Z? By the time you say it to me, I would then say to you, oh yeah, I'm gonna schedule, give me 10 minutes, give me 15 minutes, and then I'm gonna send you energy, but I don't have to do anything because that presence already did it whilst you were having the conversation with me. I'm saying this only because you're human and you need to know that there's a time frame for you to attune so that you can receive it. But it is already done. At this point, what the planet needs right now is more Melchizedek that are standing in their cosmic identity. We have to stop hiding and stop being victim and stop being in fear and stop being small. Now, with great power comes great responsibility. So we have to be able to not only manage this for ourselves, but understand that there are certain, and you will know it because as the author of The Ladder of Light, William Gray, said in that book when he talks about chakma, you cannot misuse chakma if you're really in that power. The best way to describe this is that when you say, for example, I have an intention, stellar bodies, asteroid, find a way to make sure that the planet doesn't get with the stellar body. That's, as I said, that sentence alone is too long. It needs to be something that has a few words in it, and that, and when you actually get into that presence where you align, you're in alignment and you're in surrender, and then at the same time you're in certainty, when you're in that, those three things all align inside of you, and you bring that long sentence in, that energy, that alignment will edit it for you and will clip it and will tell you this sentence is too complicated. This needs to go out. That needs to go out. And you will find the exact right sentence that you need to say in order for you to demonstrate, to find the intention that you need to help create the miracle for yourself and for the people in your circle of influence. Any questions or comments so far? I had said to you, now here's the part that's going to be the mind melt. I'm going to really find your noodle here. So a few weeks ago, about 2 weeks ago, I was watching this bad movie online. And it's mediocre. It's a movie about alien and all that, and mediocre. Scientist is trying to find a way to space travel, and there's an alien in his circle that was giving him hints. And he finally discovered this by looking at XYZ axis location. Because the way scientists are looking at space travel is this. If this is a balloon or the Earth or space-time continuum or your universe, which wrap into itself, if you're on this side and you need to go to the bottom, you have to go all around to get there. It takes a tremendous amount of time, given the distance and the speed of light, which is speed of light is actually distance. But if you can, and this is the current belief system in the Einstein theory of relativity, which is the prevalent theory of the way the universe is organized. But if you can create a wormhole by bending and opening from where you are into the bottom, you can travel faster. But even with that, the distance is so big that it would take a tremendous amount of time for stellar body to go from one place to another. At a quantum physics level, at a subatomic level, atomic particle like quarks can exist in one orbit and then in an instant disappear and reappear somewhere else, like instantaneously. A few years, I think last year, or the early part of this year, the government released in the US, first time in the US, they released similar things in Canada and other places before, a bunch of video data of encounters with UFOs. It was a huge disclosure event that barely made a dent in national news. But there was one instance in which this military pilot saw a UFO, one location in front of him, disappear, and then showed up 600 feet above, like instantaneously. Like literally blank out of place and showed up somewhere else. That kind of instantaneous teleportation is actually the way the aliens really travel. And it is the way the ascended masters really travel. And it is the way where you can create multi-location, or for that matter, complete teleportation. And I'm going to describe this for you. And again, it comes from a place of effortlessness. It is believed, and many people have said, theorized this, that if I'm holding this cup in my hand, right here, this cup doesn't just exist in the fixed location in the assemblage point in 3D, we're looking at it here. That cup actually exists everywhere in the universe simultaneously. Now I'm going to take this and turn it on its head. Every location in the entire universe exists in the cup. In your assemblage point, you have the map and the space coordinate for every location in the entire universe. Moreover, that location is connected to a command, a decree, and a very specific energetic alignment that's lined up with surrender, that's lined up with certainty. Because there's a very specific state, again, you have to know there to go there, that once you get into it, it is done like this, effortlessly. So one of the things in that movie that the scientists had to discover, like if you have two objects that are separated by space, between, let's like two hands, you can see the difference between point A and point B. But if that object were to actually change the space coordinate and vibration and frequency of space B into space A, it would disappear from where it is and reappear there. Instant teleportation. Any questions, any comments?
Can you repeat that last part, please, with the AB?
Yes. If you have two objects, let's say this is B and this is A, okay? They exist, they may be similar in every ways, but they exist and they're separated. And this is a different coordinate in the XYZ axis. This is a different coordinate in the XYZ axis because they are different spaces. However, if an object B, which is here where my hand is doing this, were to, around that object, you were to create the exact coordinate that exists in space A, the object in space B would disappear out of A and immediately show up in point A.
Thank you.
And the way this occurs, it's inside the assemblage point, because the assemblage point is a gigantic command center or gyroscope. And at any moment, you can begin to shift it and find that coordinate. Again, it's a very specific feeling and alignment that you get with the right intention the moment you do it. And it's not just space by location. It actually is every miracle that exists in the blessed field. Because that assemblage point is actually the seed of God in you. It's your creative power. Any questions, any comments? It's important for us to understand this, because I am stretching you. In other words, what exists, scientists know and observe this kind of behavior in quantum fields at the quantum level. But it is believed that it cannot happen in the physical level. And I'm saying to you, it does happen all the time. We just are trying to remember it. Again, you don't exist everywhere. If I'm an object, or Pierre is an object, I don't exist everywhere in the universe at the same time. It's the exact invert. If you think of it invertly, every location in the universe exists in my assemblage point. Every miracle, every possibility that exists in the blessed field, when I go in it and there is this vast, immense blessed field, every miracle that exists in that blessed field exists in my assemblage point. It's just a different frequency and vibration. And if I can tune myself to it by the command and the intention, I can instantaneously change myself and affect everyone in my environment. The difference between you now and you as a Melchizedek is a lack of access. You don't know how to access it and control it. Which is the reason I'm giving you all these tools, including the class that I'm at. I cannot begin to overemphasize how important that class is in the dream control, the bottle of dream. Because if you can do this in your dream, and you can control your dream and snap out of a bad dream, change the dream, if you can do this in your dream presence, you can do it when you're in that state. You can access that state to your assemblage point because it's the same muscle. You can shift your consciousness into 3D and go anywhere you desire on the assemblage point. Any questions, any comments?
So in summary, you're saying that everything and every possibility and place in the universe exists within us, and if we can tap into that center, we can go everywhere and manifest everything that we want in an instance. Is that what you, is that the conclusion?
Absolutely.
Okay,
Absolutely.
good stuff.
Absolutely. But it needs to come with wisdom. All the other techniques and mechanics I'm giving you is a way for you to refine and cultivate your consciousness to get the clarity and the access that you need. Because everything else in 3D is trying to stop you from doing this. All the events and the stuff that are happening, those rapid changes, the chaos, the potential, supply chain thing, the food thing, the financial thing, the pandemic and bacterial thing, the political thing. They are designed now to subjugate us into submission and fear so that we don't access it. The great avatar of the past, the ascended masters, the saints, the holy people, the yogis, they are able to do this because they've transcended the domestication. And the exercise and everything I'm giving you is a way for you to, because we're living in the physical world. It would be much easier if I could sequester all of you into a monastery and have you do all this work. But we all have to make a living. We have responsibility. We have to pay things. We have to work. We have to, family obligations. We have to exist in a community. We have to take, doing the political and the moral and the ethical things. And because of all of these things, it's much harder. But I've given you the tools. What I'm saying now is that you need to awake to that part of you. And don't be afraid of the power because you cannot misuse it. When you try to bring the wrong intention in that space, it will edit you. There is a self-protecting mechanism that will clip you and clip it and clip it and make sure that it's brought down to something that's benevolent. The use of that power always comes from benevolence. Because if you are dark or you have dark intention, you will never have, you cannot be in surrender. You will never get to that space. You're going to tap into something, but it's not going to be that space. Any questions, any comments? Now, to initiate, and I've spoken to you about this, I've given you this before, but the thing that will really came together for me is that all the pieces of everything I've been teaching for the past 20 years came together with this understanding and this remembrance for me. I've been telling you how to activate this part of you, particularly how to externalize your antakarana. I talked about a few weeks ago, Gandalf in the bridge of Khazad-dûm with his staff, and the staff being a physical representation of his antakarana, and how all of our various chakras, first chakra to seventh chakra, connected to the 3D body and identity, chakra 8 to chakra 15. It's the Russian babushka. There's a bigger version of you that's on top of it. Chakra 16 to 22, fifth dimensional body, fourth, and so on, all the way back to God. And there is a line or an axis called the antakarana or the rainbow bridge that's connecting in the core of Gaia that goes all the way back to God. And when the magician holds the staff is that. And when he says, oh, you shall not pass, he strikes it on the ground. He is, with the intention, he is doing what the old mystics and Kabbalists call the measure of God. He's striking down a space where the command that he's releasing, that natural law, and why he's striking it and saying it with this word and the staff as he demonstrates it, it's because the staff is a line or an arrow or a bullet, if you will. And if you were to shoot it and there was no gravity and no friction to hold it, given the fact that the universe is circular, it would end up having a huge circumference and hit you in your back and come back to you. So when a magician strikes his staff, or in any other way demonstrated through verbal command or otherwise, when that happens, he creates a space in which the intention will find a way, the universe will find a way to make everything else, natural law, obeyed. And the way I initiate this, and I've taught you this before, is that you take your right hand and you say, be gone, time and space. And you project, you think of your antakarana, the alignment, in other words, the alignment, the surrender, right? The alignment, the surrender, and the certainty that you know of connected their frequency. You say, be gone, time and space. What are you doing? If this is space B, you're banishing the coordinate in space B, because you're trying now to travel to space A. By saying be gone, time and space, and projecting it into wherever or whatever intention that you want. If you're trying to clear a room, be gone time and space, and you project it outside, and you close your eyes, or eyes can be open, you project your hand like this, and you see the column of light that is the alignment that you know in your body. You see it outside, in your mind's eye, you see it outside. And at that moment, the intention, clear this room, or may the peace and the serenity that I know pass on to you. Simple sentence. May the
Sorry, when do
peace.
we say this? Yeah, I'm confused. This be gone.
If you're trying, a simple example. There was a healing center years ago, and when I used to have those dinners at the end of the year, right? You remember those feasts? We did one at your restaurant long ago, if you remember. There was a place.
Sometimes.
Yes. 28th Street, there was an alignment center, and the owner, Omar, is a friend. And I rented the space, and I had a caterer come in to cater it. And when the caterer arrived, before the caterer arrived, I showed up there. I went with my dowsing rod, and I tried to I wanted to check the energy in the room. Because Omar, he's well-meaning, he's a good heart, but he has all kinds of events going there. And none of the other healers that came in there and did work were energetically sanitize the place. I went with the dowsing rod. There was not one positive space in the entire room. It's a beautiful room. It's a giant gold room. It was beautiful, but everything in there was negative. If I were to try to clear the room in the normal way that you clear a room, I would have been busy for hours. The caterer was coming in an hour. I needed to set up the table. I just said to him, would you, I need a round table. He said, oh, they're in the closet outside, I'll be right back. By the time he went to the closet and came back, I had cleared the entire room. All I did is that the peace and the serenity that exists in me in that alignment, I projected it outside. I banished time and space around me. Be gone time and space. And I projected it outside. And I created, in the process of doing this, in my mind's eye, I called the guardian to create a torsion field and clear the entire room. It took 12 breaths, a minute and a half. By the time he returned, I took the dowsing rod out. I checked it out again in front of him. Every corner was now positive. He was looking at me dumbfounded. He said, what did you do? I said, I'll tell you later. I never told him. A lot of time, when you are calling me on the phone with your crises and you have something that's going on, that's all I have to do. Yeah, I'm on the phone with you and I think of you where you are and I say, be gone time and space. And I project that alignment into you. And I have to simply intend in my mind, not even, sometimes I don't even do a torsion field. I have to intend in my mind, may the peace and the serenity that I know pass on to you. And when I say pass on to you, I see my entire axis on top of you, banishing it out. I apologize. Slowly, I'll call you back. I'm in the class. So as I project this out, it's simple. In other words, what I'm doing by saying this, I need to disconnect to the current time and space and condition I'm in right now. And for me to initiate this, I repeat simply with my hands like this, be gone. I have gone to multiple places in India with teachers and great holy people in India. And they're creating miracle with their hand. They're constantly manipulating space like this. And then they go like this and things appear out of nowhere in their hands. Including the woody ash, just like this, they go like this and it's manifest.
You're far away, Pierre. You're not talking in the microphone for some reason. You're a little bit far away.
Can you not hear me?
I'm
It's very
hearing you.
faint.
Hello?
It's
We
very
can
faint.
hear-
We can hear you, but it's very faint.
We can hear you, but but suddenly got much lower.
It's very low.
Uh, can you hear me?
Now it's better, yeah.
Is it better now?
Yes, it's good now.
I turn it off and turn it back on. Okay. So, hold on, let me see if the volume. Let me see where the volume is. The volume is all the way up. Okay. So what I'm saying is that when you say be gone time and space, you're banishing the condition that exists around you right at this moment. Or if you're doing the healing for someone else, what exists around them at this moment. And then you project the intention by projecting your antakarana onto them so that they're space coordinate. And what is around them, that's the disempowerment, can shift into empowerment. Any questions, any comments?
Pierre, when you say began time and space, do you say it once?
Once.
Once. And then you project out the antakarana?
Yeah, I have to be in alignment first. If I'm in a non-alignment, I can't do it. Okay? I
Okay.
have to be in alignment and in certainty.
Mm-hmm.
And you get to that space by saying begone time and space, or do you have to
No,
do
no,
torsion fields?
No, the alignment has to come somewhere else from the practice. Either the torsion field is done before, the
Yeah.
surrender, you have to get it somewhere else.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yep.
I'm just saying that the way I initiate this, the space coordinate shift around myself, around anyone else, around the room or around whatever else, that's the way I started.
And then you do the step to project in your mind's eyes the antakarana out.
Yes. When I say begone time and space and I project my hand like this, wherever I project my hand, I see it as a giant column, a giant vertical column.
So you do it at the same time.
At the same time.
Okay. And then you send out the intention.
And then I send out whatever the intention is.
Okay, thank you.
But yeah,
yes.
Isn't it because something is going to my mind. The antakarana is a combination of the alignment.
It is the alignment.
Torsion field. Yeah, the torsion field.
Yes. It's the alignment all the way back to God. Yes.
So it is all three together. It's your true self.
Yep.
Your true Melchizedek.
Mm-hmm.
The torsion field, really, it's part of it. And your alignment.
Okay, let's not make it complicated. Okay. There are multiple other techniques. The torsion field is a way for you to get to your authentic self. And your authentic self is your Melchizedek identity.
Yes.
So however you get to your Melchizedek identity, whether it's through the torsion field or for that matter, the latest thing I taught you, which is the Grand Cross marriage. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Okay?
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't matter which technique and which way you get to it. It's like there are so many bridges that leads to Manhattan. It doesn't matter what bridge you get there, get to Manhattan. Get to the Melchizedek identity. Once you are there, then you can do this. Because that's the first thing. You have to be in that identity, the cosmic identity. And then the second thing is that you have to now be standing you have to now be in complete surrender to that energy. It's no longer Pierre's will, but it's the will of that giant collective. You have to be surrendered to it. And thirdly, you are now in certainty that whatever comes out from that connection is benevolent. It's
So
for
in
your
my
highest
mind,
good.
I'm saying, in my mind, I see it as all of the above. It's the work that produced this. I got it, Pierre. Thank you. Thank you.
No
I
problem.
got it. It's all of the above to me. Okay. And that create that giant projection.
Yeah.
It's the work, it's everything. Thank you.
Yes. Okay. Any other comments or questions?
Yeah, Pierre, what I hear you saying is it you are in alignment if you are standing in your cosmic identity, and this is a place where you don't go from one thing to the other. This is a place where your consciousness lies. So at all times, we're talking about unifying the like they called Jesus the Son of God and the Son of Man, not because they were separate, but because he was unifying both aspects of his consciousness until he was operating fully at all times from that sonship. He was coming from there. And so when I'm thinking about what you're saying, I see this as you're not going from one state to another. The work is to bring you to this state of mind that you are constantly operating from that Christ place within you. And so when you make a call, because it's like somebody may say something to me now how I respond is from where my consciousness is.
Yeah.
My response is going to be from what my understanding is. So now I know that this great energy and cosmic consciousness is within me. So when I make that call, I go back to Isaiah 65:24. Before you call, I will answer, because I'm certain that God is in me. And what response comes from me is God's response. So before I call, I will answer. And while you are yet speaking, I will bring it to pass. And you'll say, if I'm in that certainty, I cannot be wrong because I'm coming from the consciousness of God in which I am aligned and surrendered to. So I'm coming from that place. So I'm not coming from hippity dippity square. I'm coming from standing four square in this truth.
Amen.
Yes.
And this is the reason why I had said before that sometime when you're talking to me, because I'm in that space, because the afterglow when you make that connection in the morning, the after or that remembrance in the
You're
morning.
very low again, Pierre. Jesus.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, just lean into your mic.
It's not. It's. I don't know what's going on. And the presence, when you're in that presence, in that knowing, what actually occur is that you, hold on a second, let me see. I know what's going on. Hold on a second. Let me see if I can raise the volume. It's not allowing me. The volume is dimmed down. I can't, it's not allowing me. It's not allowing me to. All right, I'm going to continue with the class. I will do this afterwards because it lowered the speaker very low. Can you
I
hear
don't
me?
know what happened because it was good before.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Is this better?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, I changed something in the setting. Okay, is this better? Can you
Yes.
hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. So the thing that I'm trying to say is this. We what Celidia is saying is so true, that when what the passage you just read from the Bible is the fact that it comes from this is why I was saying before that there are times when I make the alignment and the connection in the morning. I am so connected that sometimes, let's say at 2 o'clock or 4 o'clock, you call me and you're telling me your woe without you even finishing. Spirit in me has already reached out to you and healed you.
Yes.
And when you say, can you do something because you're a human being needs a demonstration, you would not believe me if I told them. And I said, I'm going to connect with you at such and such time. And at that time, I'm very aware of the timing. I don't need to do anything because God already acted.
Mm.
It's for your convenience that I'm telling you this. Any questions, any comments?
I have a little joke for you.
Okay.
This couple that I know, they were very, very much in love. And he was so much in love with her that when he developed Alzheimer's, this was his primary thought. And so they went someplace and he got lost. And when they found him, they asked him, where was he going? And he said he was either going to his wife or coming from his wife.
Mm.
Now, if we think about Creator, that is the love that encompasses us all. We're either going to or coming from. So if you think about that, and that is your primary place of dwelling in your consciousness, you're coming from or going to.
Mhm.
So when you call, Spirit will answer. And while you are yet speaking, it will bring it to pass.
Mhm.
That's the love story that I'm in. And I hear you say, I'm bound for the promised land. Who will come and go with me? Because I'm bound for the promised land.
Mhm. Amen. Absolutely true. Absolutely true. Any
So
other
these are the
comments?
steps to the heavenly consciousness.
Yes.
Walk with me. Talk with me. We are one. I think it's beautiful.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Can we take a 5-minute break, and then on the back end of this, we'll rejoin for our closing meditation. 5 minutes.
Thank you for that, Cynthia. Pierre, I just want to mention the volume. I've cranked up to maximum. I can just hear you well enough, but with music going on in the background, that might become harder.
Yeah, I'm trying to reset up the setting right now. I'm on it right now. Thank you.
I may not hear you at all. In other words, I'm saying.
Yes, I'm trying to reset the
Thank you. Thank you.
okay. Can you all hear me now? Is this better?
Better,
That's much better.
much better.
Yeah, it wasn't automatic. It was shutting me down. I just changed it.
Oh, good.
Much better, much clearer. Thank you.
Yeah. 5 minutes. Take a very deep and slow breath. And as you inhale and exhale deeply and slowly, allow the universal life force that permeates everything to enter into your lungs. Keep breathing deeply and slowly. And let your soul and your awareness drop in the middle of your chest. Please forgive me. I love you. And I let go. Please forgive me. I love you. And I let go. Let your heart and your mind sync with each other. And realize that you can now perceive 360 degrees all around you. Keep breathing deeply and slowly. Simply notice what you noticed and become aware of any sensations, perceptions, and knowing that may show up for you. Banish from your mind and your consciousness time and space. Be gone, time and space. Banish from your consciousness all fears. Banish from your consciousness all control. All desires to do, to fix, or to repair anything. Keep breathing deeply and slowly. And let yourself drop into the vast continents while becoming aware of the endless presence that exists in infinity times infinity. Listen. Listen as if the more than 50 trillion cells that exist in your body had ears. And become aware all around you and in all points in your upper heart and assemblage area. Of the one presence and identity the silent one, the witness, the one that existed before time and space, your authentic, true Melchizedek identity. Allow this knowing to increase in you exponentially. As you now begin to understand that every sensation in this blessed field is a location, an effect, a potential for manifestation, and that all of it exists in your upper heart, in you. I let go completely to infinity times infinity, and I surrender to the great luminosity. In the vast continents, I stand in spiritual rectitude and verticality, aligned to the celestial axis. And to the Melchizedek call, as a cosmic being, a benevolent force for good. Begone time and space. May the peace, the serenity, and the love that I know radiate to everyone in my circle of influence. Thank you for the blessings. I accept the gifts and I receive with gratitude. Thank you for the blessings. I accept the gifts and I receive with gratitude. Thank you for the blessings. I accept the gifts and I receive with gratitude. Take a very deep and slow breath. And whenever you feel ready, you can open your eyes. How you all feeling?
Peaceful.
Mm,
Thank you, Pierre. It was wonderful.
you're
I had a
welcome.
big headache before, it's gone.
Beautiful. Yay. Good God. Terrific. Terrific.
Yeah.
I want to thank all of you for being here with me tonight and for being with me, because all of you have been on this journey with me for a long time, over 10 years. So I want to thank you all for listening to me and for giving me the opportunity to share the peace and the serenity and the love that I know with you. Thank you so much. Deep blessing. If you're listening to us on Patreon, I want to thank you for your support. For my YouTube people, please like this video, subscribe to the channel, and share it to increase the algorithm. Thank you so much. Deep love. I'll see you next week.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Namaste.
Bye, everyone. Love you
Bye.
guys.
Bye, everyone. Bye.